right, there he is. How you doing, my brother? You doing good? How's that hip?
My hip, actually, sometimes my hip, it gives me a little trouble. I don't know, even in my age. But I gotta say, I think I might be bringing back the HOPIUM. It's just 1 week. It's just 1 week that the Dolphins need the results to go their way. They just got to.
How's Kansas? Kansas City has 0 to play for,
and that's really the only reason why it's even up in the air. Because I would fully expect these Dolphins to go into New Jersey and beat the Jets, and then other than that, if only the Chiefs had something to play for, then they would totally win this game.
I would be worried about the Jets game, but after watching today,
exactly, yeah.
Oh my God, they quit, bro. And Aaron Rodgers, I bet he doesn't play next week. I bet you the humongous Mojon hits the fan. Okay, Mahone, big flop of crap is going to hit the fan this week. I'm telling you, this is where it gets ugly. His body language today was bad, bro, bad. Like, I don't want anything to do with this. So I think they're going to let him go and all that. So we'll see what happens, because you got young players. There was reports, right? Reese said, if he comes back, I'm going to ask for a trade. Somebody said that the kid would ask for a trade, which is crazy stuff, dude. You don't want to lose those kind of players. So I think that they got to break. The problem is Kansas City has nothing to play for whatsoever. They're going to rest everybody. They know the bigger picture. And Denver has everything to play for. Everything. Oh, and by the way, one more caveat, because some guy goes, he wanted to, he's a desperate Dolphins fan. He goes, well, Kansas City's not going to want a divisional opponent in the playoffs. And actually, they want this divisional opponent in the playoffs. Why? For them, it's better Denver to win, because Denver has a better chance of knocking off Buffalo than the Dolphins would. So if they knock off Buffalo, that's the team that Kansas City doesn't want to have to deal with, even though they can beat them, but that's the team that can beat them. You know what I mean? So actually, it helps them for Denver to make it, because Denver has a better chance of beating Buffalo than Miami right now, because they're a better team than Miami right now.
I wouldn't. I'll disagree with you there, because last time we saw the Dolphins go into Buffalo, it was a 30-27 game. Came down to a 60-yard field goal in the final seconds. So we did just recently see them compete against the Bills, and I think if you're the Chiefs, you're thinking a divisional opponent has more knowledge on Buffalo to possibly upset them. So the Dolphins, being as familiar as they are, having played Buffalo so much. Probably the Dolphins would have a better shot at especially with some momentum going into the postseason. And if Tua plays, if Tua doesn't play, then I know we saw what Huntley did in this game, but then he wouldn't go into Buffalo and pull off a win. But so I think if Tua's healthy, then I would say the Dolphins have a better shot at taking out the Bills. I would say Bills fans probably would prefer to see Denver if you pull most Bills fans.
Well, of course, because Tua's healthy, Teron Armstead is healthy, Waddle's in the game. It's the same situation that they were in, just a couple, Mostert is probably really healthy right now. What else has changed in the team from that Buffalo game to? Yeah, no, it's the same exact team, David Furones. The same.
Oh, but in 2 weeks, Waddle could come back. You don't know. I mean, if Tua can return from this hip injury, then yeah.
By the way, how are we doing on the hip thing now? You're good now. No more contact for you're with me now on this, right? Tua, no contact. It's stupid to take on any contact. Are we good now?
Yeah.
Are we good now?
Like I told you on Twitter, I had to come on this program today and apologize to you for disagreeing with you on that one. Yeah, definitely. I mean,
no apologies are needed at all.
I know I'm exaggerating, but
this is silliness. But the point is, his body is not made for contact, and he does not get it, and that's the problem here. And he's being very selfish, very ignorant in this process, because and his machismo or whatever, he's thinking he's lesser of a man or something. Dude, lots of quarterbacks played this way. You don't get clean hits on Warwick Dunn. He played the game so you don't hit him. Okay, young Russell Wilson, you didn't get clean hits on Russell Wilson. That's kind of what he did. He ran out of bounds. He spun on you. So did Ward Dunn. Certain players. Floyd Mayweather, he boxes and doesn't get hit. You know what I mean? There's no shame in any of this. I don't know why he has a problem with this. Montana or Marino or Manning or Brady, they did not see any contact whatsoever. They didn't try to tackle somebody. Ted Ginn, you're young enough. Oh, we were the stupid ones. Do you understand that? We're the stupid ones that kept telling Ted Ginn, no, bro, you're a pussy. Don't go out of bounds. Take on that tackler. Get 2 more yards. No, we're the idiots that were calling Ted Ginn a wussy and oh, you're going out of. No, Ted Ginn played for 12 years because he played smart. We're stupid. Marvin Harrison, go watch his highlights. Somebody's coming. The guy would literally sit down on the floor. Sit down on the floor. I've watched him get it, curl, and he sees a guy and he sits down. Boop, they touch him and he walks away. He played the game so he didn't get hit. And Marvin Harrison had a Hall of Fame career. There's lots of guys in different sports that played the game when they understand who they are. You understand? And he, you're Matthew Tkachuk. You're going to play the game different than you are, what's it called, Gretzky. Gretzky, you're going to try to use your athleticism and your speed to just get around everybody. Tkachuk at times is going to battle you all the way in there. You know what I mean? He's going to use some physicality. That's his game. That wasn't Wayne Gretzky's game. It doesn't matter the sport. When you're Theo Fleury and you're a small guy in hockey, or you're Vinny Trocheck, you can't play the game on a physical way, even though the game is very physical. You've got to adapt. Tua refuses to adapt, and that's a huge problem for the Dolphins.
Yeah. And hopefully this is the one. I know we always say each new instance, hopefully that's the one. Hopefully this is the one that finally enlightens him. And I know from my perspective, I was even excusing him when it originally happened, because I was only thinking, okay, well, he was protecting his head even in diving forward because the 2 hits were coming from the side. But there is still the rest of the body for an injury-prone player. Let's face it, and someone who, as you've mentioned, his body is not meant to withstand those kind of hits from big-ass NFL grown men who hit you very hard in this game when they're playing competitive football. So, and some of them might. I don't want to say bad intentions, but. Yeah, if you have the ability to take out a quarterback, and the Dolphins don't play well with their backup quarterback, at least before this game, then yeah, you want to do that as a competitive advantage in a game. Absolutely, even in 2024. I know maybe that was more of a mentality from a little bit like when I was growing up, but then definitely when you were growing up and a lot of the football you watched. But yeah, absolutely, you would do that as an opposing defender. So he's got to be mindful of that and know how to counter it, which is avoid the contact every opportunity you get. And I asked Daryl Bevell about it whenever it was that we last, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, with the Houston hit in mind. And yeah, he said, yeah, there's still some plays where we got it. Get it through to him. Okay, you don't need to take the contact here. He mentioned being in the pocket, and whenever you need time to throw and you need to maybe step into a throw, go ahead and do that, because as a quarterback you have to do that to play the position. So some of those, there's nothing you can do about it. But in those instances outside the pocket, then definitely slide in those cases. I understand maybe if it's a playoff game and it's a 4th down, gotta have it.
Right.
Go for it in those cases.
John Elway.
Right, helicopter for the
helicopter. Yeah, bro, it's a Super Bowl. You got to do whatever it takes to win that game. Mm-hmm. I get that. I get that.
And we see that when we see that one, we'd all applaud it and say, "Look at that heart." The machismo is strong with him, and he went out there, laid it all out on the line. But there's a lot of games where you don't need to go doing all that. So. Maybe be mindful of certain situations when.
Can we all just write a card and send it to the stadium and send it to the? We all know you're a tough guy.
Well, but that's the thing. A lot of people don't see Tua that way. So
He's
so
not
I understand
durable.
he
He's
feels
not
like he's got something to prove.
No. He's not durable. He's
Yeah.
tough, but he's not durable. There's two
Yeah.
different things. So, bro, you came back from a hip injury in 10 months to start a game in the NFL. You're plenty tough, dude. Plenty tough. And you got slammed by Michael Brockers. That's how you were brought into the NFL. I will never question your toughness, but we all question your durability. And the problem is you don't question your durability. And that's the part that is just, bro, Barry Sanders played the game so you don't touch him. And he's a running back. A running back that made a living of trying to play the game so you don't get a hit on him. That's amazing. And I don't understand how he has not picked up on that. That there's a beautiful way of playing the game that, bro, we're not calling you a coward or anything like that. You're playing smart is what you're doing. By the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. God bless Tyler Huntley, bro. He had a really nice game today, especially when you have a guy on the sidelines that I don't think really helps you that much at times. I got to commend the young man. I still don't think he's a backup. You know what I mean? But for the moment, good for him after everything he's been through.
Yeah, I mean, he came in. We know the difficult situation that he was put into early in the season. I mean, he just joined the team. It was between the Buffalo and Seattle game, right? So then he gets first start Tennessee game. So not even 2 full weeks from the moment he signs with the team. So go through a week of practice, is inactive, and then the next game with Skylar Thompson then hurt. He's starting for a team on Monday Night Football where he hasn't even had 2 weeks with that offense, and it's got to be a whirlwind for the guy, and he's trying to go out there and play. And we saw what it was early in the season, and Tyreek Hill had a funny quote saying at the beginning he was just raw dogging it. He was raw dogging it, so he didn't have the preparation to just go out there and execute the offense the way it was really required of him. And you saw, I mean, it's a night and day difference from the Tyler Huntley that we saw early in the season before he got injured in that Colts game. So good for him. It was against the Browns, of course, but
he specified in the slants tonight. That's what he did a lot of.
With Tyreek Hill specifically. Yeah. Every target, he was 9 for 9 throwing to Tyreek Hill. 9 targets, 9 receptions for
the wrist wasn't a problem today. He didn't drop any, so he doesn't have to make any excuses. The wrist, And by the way, I got to get more practice.
The right-handed spin instead of the left-handed spin.
I got to get more practice time with Tua. Well, guess what? Tua didn't. It's just it's convenience.
That was how I started the press conference with Tyreek when he went up to the podium in post-game in Cleveland. Was so much was made of your practice reps with Tua. I take it you also got plenty of reps with Snoop.
Right. Yeah, he concentrated this week, so he caught all 9. And by the way, he went 9 for 9 on the targets and the catches. So that shows you all you need to know. Right there. Your thoughts are just like me, right? Tua doesn't play next week. That what McDaniel said, that it's they're afraid that it could injure it even more. What's it going to change in a week? And he's not really an athletic guy, and you're going to put him out there in the cold. To me, he's done. He's done for the year. I don't think he plays at all. And by the way, I thought it was a mistake if you knew he was injured last week, he shouldn't have played. But I know whatever silliness about the stupid playoffs, whatever. I think it's a smart thing if you keep him out next week. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess it was pretty telling when the quote he said, Mike McDaniel said that he was super susceptible to a more significant injury. So that is pretty telling and pretty damning. So if he's really at risk of taking another hit and having it lead to something like what finished his college career at Alabama, that hip injury, which by the way, McDaniel said it was not related at all to that one. But when I hear him say the thing about how susceptible he is to something more significant, I start to think, oh, so if he takes another hit, then it could go that way. It could go like as bad as that one. So I don't know how much a week, especially when he said the improvement that there was in the hip plateaued at a certain point. So once you get to a certain plateau, then how much can another week help? I mean, clearly there was a point this week where they thought maybe he had a shot at doing it, and then it seems like it plateaued the Friday and the Saturday, and eventually went doubtful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say if he is good enough and he's not at that same risk level, then maybe you could, if you can like throw on some extra padding, I don't know, like have him look like Donovan McNabb did with all that extra shit that he wore around like his ribs and I guess lower on the hips. I don't know, have him look like the Michelin Man out there, but he's already not supposed to be running anyway. But then maybe, but it did seem, I would say unlikely. I would say unlikely. And then maybe if it's for a playoff game, then you start leaning toward more of a possibility, on the sliding scale of however he's feeling, and if you get to that point.
Dude, is it a 1 o'clock game next week or what?
So I have just joined you, but I have not been looking. I don't think they have made any announcement yet. So, but it should be. That's
I've been checking, and they're all TBD still.
All TBD. Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm looking on the ESPN one, but again, maybe there was a release and I haven't seen it, and he got it or something. That's why I ask, because I just like this has. Don't torture me with a later start again, please.
Yeah,
End my season by 7 o'clock next week, please. Come on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These 4 o'clock games, 4:25 last week. Come on, bro, enough already.
Yeah, and please don't make it one of those 2 Saturday games, but because I already booked my flight. My flight is Saturday to New York, so I don't want to be changing travel plans and all that.
You ain't paying for it, so who cares?
Yeah, I know, but I got people that I'll piss off if I booked travel for the wrong day.
Yeah, but it's not your fault. You had to book it already, dude. You're already the week of the game, dude. You had to book it.
Yeah. You'll be my attorney if it comes to it.
So, I'm ready. This is sponsored by Welt Rheaume.
Absolutely, I got Welt Rheaume on my side. So, my bosses. Yeah. My bosses. They'll be hearing from them if they want to give me trouble over.
Yeah, right.
But this screams Sunday 1 p.m.
Oh God! Yes.
We saw the Jets. I mean, even with the Dolphins still having a playoff scenario, there's no way they would want the New York Jets in any kind of prime time slots, no. like Stan. So no. Although now hold on, because
what about 6 a.m. Sunday?
Yeah, right. Here's the other thing. So it's Denver with meaning toward the Dolphins game. So, and that one's in Denver. Well, okay, in the Mountain Time Zone, they'll still play the 1 p.m.
They're gonna go. That's a 4 o'clock game for sure.
Yeah, because they do like to have the games that have meaning toward each other be at the same time in Week 18, so that you don't have the influence of one result going to another. So, but in Denver, they'll still host 1 p.m. games, don't they? Like it's 11 a.m.
It's rare, but they normally go 4 o'clock in Denver. Normally,
right? Mountain Time Zone.
Yeah, Mountain Central, you could get away with it on 1 o'clock.
Definitely.
But an 11 a.m. game, you're asking people to start drinking liquor at 7 a.m. or 8. That's a lot to ask, It's just a responsibility. I don't know if the NFL really wants.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
Actually, well, here's all right. I did a quick pull up of the Broncos schedule. So their home games, 4:25 p.m., 4:05, 4:05, 4:25. Yep, they only play 1 p.m. on the road. So yeah, they had a night game against the Browns, 4:25. Yep. So
it's with the Central. 1 hour behind us. Those are the only games that could get 1 o'clock games. After that, I don't think the ones that go at 11. I don't think they get 1 o'clock games.
Yeah.
More often than not. I'm just saying maybe there's some flukish ones, but I don't think overall they're going to end up getting it.
So it could be 4:05 or 4:25 based on that. If they want the Dolphins game to be on at the same time as the Broncos, so those results don't influence each other.
By the way, were you impressed with Mike McDaniel? He gave us a new thing in failing in back-to-back challenges. That's a new record right there. You've never seen that. I'm older than you. I've never seen that. Strong by Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, we all know his record. Well, now it is 4 of 18. 4 of 18. So got 4, missed 14. Yeah.
By the way, it's really 3 for 19.
I know. Yeah, you got that one.
The special
teams. Danny Crossman. So he owes Danny Crossman the credit for one of the successful challenges. But I'm okay with that first one because you have to go for the 4th and 1, and we all know what this offense does in short yardage situations. So if you can get it, and it was so bang bang, like you have a chance. I think, and it was just a call stands instead of call confirmed. So you had a chance at least. So I get that one. If you could pick up the first down without having, and then we saw what happened on the 4th and 1. Maybe if there was a better play call, then he took the blame on that, of course. But yeah, and then I forget how how close the second one even was because I was still looking up shit on the first one, but
it wasn't even worth it. So what was the most telling thing that McDaniel told you guys? What shocked you the most? What do you think was the most newsworthy thing in the press conference?
Well, definitely all the Tua updates. So I did already get a quick file up on that. So for the quote I mentioned earlier, that he was susceptible to serious aggravation, I think was pretty interesting and concerning for Tua. So there is that. It revealed a lot about the whole process timeline going up to Tua, especially when there were so many questions when the media availabilities are done for the week, and then you see. First, okay, he's questionable on Friday at 4 p.m. All right, but he played through it last week and he made it through the game. He already said it's no big deal when I asked him on Thursday. All right, we don't seriously think it's going to keep him out. They're just listing him as questionable. And then it downgraded to doubtful. Then that was shocking, and we have no idea. There's no media interviews on Saturday when that happens. It's just they put it out, and then nothing before the game either. So there's a long time where we had no idea what was going on, and then finally to get some clarity, that was key from the McDaniel press conference.
Well, all I can tell you is I'm expecting him not to play next week because that soundbite alone tells me that that's not going to change in a week. I'm sorry. You're not going to have that kind of a concern, and all of a sudden it's going to change in 7 days. Plus the realistic nature of you're going to put him out there for a game that really means nothing, to be quite honest, because there's no way Kansas City is winning that game next week. I just don't see it. They have nothing to play for. They're going to be playing everybody they possibly can play off their practice squad and all that kind of shit, and they're not going to play a lot of people, dude. They're going to try to save as many people as they can for the next couple of weeks so they can stay as fresh as they can since they get the bye. And Kansas City has no business even trying to win that game.
Yeah, but you know what? The way rosters are, there's not even that many spots that you can just play pure backups. Now, you protect Patrick Mahomes, let's say, so that's already huge. Is that the best quarterback that we have in the game right now won't play.
Chris Jones,
and Chris Jones, right? Like a Travis Kelce. Yeah, right. Yeah, there's several key players, but then as far as like a lot of the core of the starting group, and it's not like you can really bench everyone. It's not like a preseason game when you have a 90-man roster instead of.
But you have a large practice squad now. They're gonna activate several guys off the practice squad.
But you're limited in how you can elevate 2. You can only elevate 2. You have to. Make a roster spot if you're going to elevate more than that. So, you're limited. It's not like you could just play the whole practice squad.
No. But they'll play. I bet you they'll get 3 or 4 guys off that practice squad one way or another with different the back end of their roster with a move or 2 or something, cutting somebody and all that. They'll rig it. Rig it.
But whoever they cut, then they're available for anyone to pick up. So it's not like they would just cut a key player to make that roster spot. It would be someone that's also end of the roster.
Right. It's whoever's 53rd or something that's interchangeable or some shit like that. There's always somebody at the back end that they can interchange, or 2 that they can interchange. All right, what do you got going on in the South Florida Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, wrapping up game coverage here from Cleveland, and then I'll be throwing up more updates on all the Tua news that we got post game here, and I'll be looking out for that announcement on when the Dolphins start time is. So, have that information as soon as it comes through, and grading today's game early tomorrow. I'll go review and put the grades file in the Sun Sentinel together.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and check him out there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it. Welt Rheaume, they know how to get it done. Condo damage, criminal defense. Listen, man, they defended us. We had some crazy-ass kids go through the wall of our house. They thought they were like, Fast and Furious. And, well, we had to go up against Progressive, and Progressive did not want to live up to their responsibilities. And that's what these insurance companies do. They love collecting their premium, but then when they've got to do their part, these insurance companies, as you know, they don't. Well, Welt Rheaume, Jeff and Danny brought them to their knees, man. And that's what it's all about. And they've done it for a bunch of our listeners, man. I wish I could tell you their stories, but they're the only ones that can tell their stories. It's called, client attorney privileges, that. But he tells me, hey, man, another one of your listeners got a case and got another case, and it's awesome. Unless you guys tell me names and all that, I don't find out. But a lot of our listeners have called for bankruptcy, for condo damage, for criminal defense, homeowner property damage, business owner claims. One of our listeners came from Orlando, and I actually talked to him on the phone because he was in the office with Jeff, and then they called me. And by the way, if you guys are ever involved with Welt Rheaume, tell them, hey, call Big O. I want to talk to Big O, and no problem. I've done it already a couple times. Because, hey, I got a client, I got a listener of yours. They want to say hi, and it's happened a couple times. So yes, I don't mind. Yes, I do it. It's all cool, and you're gonna love Jeff and Daniel. They do excellent. Daniel Rheaume is a stunt pilot. You think he's worried about when he walks into a courtroom? The fucking guy's a stunt pilot. A stunt pilot. I don't have the balls to be a stunt pilot. Do you have the balls to be a stunt pilot? Courtroom isn't anything for that guy. Jeff Welt, he's a bulldog, bro. You're going to love him. 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.